So I'm going to shoot this to someone on YouTube and see if you pick it up, because you are a great robotics engineer and also work with students. And so I think it would be extremely beneficial and could prevent a lot of interference with lymphatic tissues um, being stricken by wireless systems. And, not in theory, just completely. But unfortunately, generally what happens is these things are created and then monetized heavily, and then the general public that is going to be the sole purveyor of pain isn't able to buy these things. So it makes it a little bit more difficult then to survive as a consumer, you know. So with that being said, you like your Wi-Fi, right? Well, you didn't think your Wi-Fi could hurt you, huh? Think again. It can. Think again. It can. Now, as of to date, um, I don't have any privacy, nor does my son, my youngest, with even his medical providers. And then you'll know that, I'll tell you in advance, how you know these things are going to happen. It's hacking language. Corporate handshake means hack. Then you'll receive a bomb threat, yet find no bomb, because response time is about 10 to 15 minutes. That's enough time to get into that system and know everything within it. IDs, names, everything you need. So why are those products not regulated also? Because they're not being. Not even the slightest. To wonder why things have gotten to a chaotic era, I go, what do you mean? How? Those products aren't regulated at all. At all. Not at all. No regulation. So somebody can piggyback your Wi-Fi. Somebody can piggyback your IP, which is your me, myself, I have a literal IP, meaning like a Wi-Fi system attached to me, meaning I can move water if I want to, meaning I can move a body if I want to, away from me, if it's potentially dangerous. So then what are the causes and the effects? Well, it's radiation seamlessly, I think. And I don't know. But I'd like to be able to test these things so that I do know. And then there are preventative methods established that are profitable also in what you can wear to prevent that lymphatic attack with wireless systems. So I'm going to send this out to someone that is a robotic engineer and see thoughts. Not see thoughts, but, hope for a response. I don't know. I'm going to hope. Because as of yet, the moving the water piece, wasn't something I wanted to do. No. Me and my son didn't want to do that. It just did it. Whoosh, whoosh. In the bathtub. And then after the fact, we have bacteria in our water now. Septic drain off and just undrinkable water. So, and then you'll wonder how you can get a parasitic infection. Well, that's how. It's not that difficult. Cells multiply rapidly, and they do that, and they are looking for a host. But again, once they get the host inside the human body, if it's parasitic in nature, which I have no clue because I don't know what that bacteria can turn into once it's left and it sits long enough. Anything that's a bacteria that's left and can sit long enough can turn into a parasite, possibly. I don't know. I don't have the right equipment to test any of these things. I don't have the right reagents. I don't have anything to be able to test these things. And so it's so frustrating because I don't have the right tools to use to test anything. And all generally, people want to do is go, well, the Savior's back. We're trusting our Savior. Okay, I'll trust that too. But I legitimately saw somebody walk on water. So, you know, and then me and my son together combined can move it. Legit, move it. Not magically, no. With the frequency that we already possess, and then the IP attached, and that manipulated. So, this energy, it exists. You can't see it, so people don't believe it, but it's just a frequency, your natural frequency that you have, and then that projected out. So, with that being said, a lot of people won't believe that. Well, don't. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. Now, on the corporate side, the billionaire corporate side, they're going to believe this because they know already. So, it's fine. If you don't believe me, you can look up an MIT video and see a person that was creating shoes and boots and things like that I think I've seen on runway too, that have an electromagnetic pulse underneath, right? Now you can see that, right? That blue light. You can see that. Well, you can't see that with us. So, yeah. Anyways, and legit, a woman standing next to this man who was walking on water. She stood with 1 foot, 2 seconds until her foot went down on water. And so, I'm just saying, in this day and age, science kind of knows a lot more, an intense amount more. And so, when you don't know those things, and then your approach is generally just, we're tired of it. It's wigging us out. That's why it takes so long to create cures and to have fundamental, healthy, driven initiatives in place. That's why, because all the secrecy behind, and we've got to hide this. I've got to hide, and these companies, I gotta have this, I gotta have that, I gotta have this nefarious thing, I gotta have this malicious attempt, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. Well, you wouldn't have to do all those things if the systems were set up the correct way to begin with. You wouldn't have unfair monopolies if the systems were set up the correct way to begin with. Within human and AI integration, there's no limitless possibility that tells me that any PhD should ever get a PhD, or a student should ever get a PhD working off of a human being without consents, without limited liability, without at least a phone call, something, anything, or malpractice insurance. You have to have that once you graduate. It's ridiculous that it's in all these course syllabuses and has been for so very long. And you think, where did all this info come from? This relatable content that you can look on your TV, and it's like a legitimate mirror sometimes of your community or different communities that you know. Why do you think that is? First documented brain to computer, computer to brain interface in the 50s. Now, documented, but started in the 30s. So, again, I'm tested, but I think not 100% on that because I didn't find documentation. But it just seems adequate for those students studying human and AI integration to have consents, to have insurances, and to have malpractice. Because then once you've graduated, you're no longer studying your subject. Those kids have a disorder now that a wireless system is named after. Why is that their disorder? You created it. Working off of a human body with no limited access. Just whatever you wanted. So if they thought of something that was a great business, not theirs anymore. Not cool. Wrong. I know right from wrong. So why is that so hard to process? I don't know. Just a thought.